Hello everyone, this is going to be day 7 for Moritz and my trip to Tirano, Italy. Now this is part of the Bernina Express, and I thought about doing the Bernina Express, but the train was going to be crowded. I had, my Swiss Travel Pass. I just needed to make reservations, and then I was looking at it and said, well, I'm going to take a regular train, sit in first class there, and it worked out really good because I had the car to myself. And when the Bernina Express actually passed us, it was packed. So think about that. If you're going to be traveling in Switzerland and want to do the Bernina Express, it may be better to take a regular first class cabin in a regular train, because one thing, you can move around. You can, look at the right side, look at the left side, and you had plenty of space. Now in the high season, it may not be the case, but when I went in April, there's just a few passengers on the whole train, and most of them were in second class, which is the economically smart thing to do if you're just getting from point A to point B. Now, this trip down to Tirano from St Moritz, my son went hiking, and I decided, well, I'm here to ride trains, and that's what I did. Highlights of the Bernina Express are going through the Continental Divide, where one side drains to the Danube and the Black Sea, and right past this lake, the other side drains to the Mediterranean, the Adriatic Sea. That is pretty cool. The train actually stopped and took a couple of pictures around this area. And the conductor said, hey, get out. We'll take a 5-minute break. And they weren't worried about being on time. I don't know. Maybe it was built in. But the conductor was really nice. It was almost like I was getting, personalized service. So for my teacher friend, she's going to Switzerland in July and part of August, I believe. And she wanted me to send her a lot of these videos, which I'm going to be doing. And this also is from our brother, who is recently out of the hospital now and just got out last week. And he wants to see all these videos as well. And it's just awesome. So I'm cranking through them pretty fast. I'm not a professional YouTuber by any means. I just enjoy doing this stuff. But this was way up on my bucket list. Always envisioned just wanting to sit on the trains, read my Kindle, and I still didn't read a single word on my Kindle. But when I got to Tirano, I did. I read it for about an hour and caught the train back. Here's a famous lake that people like to hike around, Mar-a-Lago, and Bruzio is coming up. And Bruzio is famous for the viaduct that goes around in a circle. And here's a video of that going down toward Tirano. And again, I'm showing a lot of video, mainly for my teacher friend and my brother, so it's just so cool. And they built this, for the obvious reason that, going through the Swiss mountains, you can do switchbacks, you can do cog rails if you're going too steep of a climb, but you're not supposed to go more than, 4 or 5, 7% grade. And they realized this back 100 years ago. Say, hey, this is the best way to get up past this town. But I've seen this on YouTube cab train videos hundreds of times, and I said, I want to do this. And sure enough, when I got to St Moritz, I could have gone to the museum, I could have gone up one of the mountains, and I chose going on the train. Tirano's a pretty cool town. It's so easy to get to from St Moritz. It's hardly an hour or so. And went there, had a nice lunch, read for a while, and had some gelato. So I could say I just went to Italy for an hour just to have some gelato. It was pretty cool. Friendly people. Didn't wander around too much because I wanted to get back. I was hoping to make it back in time to hit a museum in St. Moritz. It was a museum about how life was like a few hundred years ago. But I didn't make it back in time, and which is fine. I just kicked back at the restaurant, read. My son didn't even show up until late. I don't know what he did that day. But he didn't get the pictures I wanted. I kind of hinted I wanted him to go up and take a picture of the Landwasser Viaduct, hike down to the bottom there. Now, on the way back, the conductor said, hey, there's a different conductor. Sit up front in the first class, because going down to St. Moritz, I barely made the train in time. Hopped on the first class car I saw. But here, she said, get up front and you could watch basically a cab view. And that's what I did. And I was the only one in the car again. It's like, it was amazing. So I've had dream jobs, fantasy dream jobs from a kid growing up. Marine biology didn't work out because I failed chemistry. Orchestra conductor didn't work out because, well, I didn't go to music school and I didn't have the music education I needed when I was young. Train conductor could have been a possibility. I would have loved doing that. This is another dream job. But I had my dream jobs. I got to do Air Force and then teaching, which was incredible. But it's so cool going through Tirano, seeing her do her operations of the train. Super friendly people on the Swiss rail. And if you love trains, I do highly check out. Just type in Cab View Switzerland, and you're going to see lots and lots of train videos. Here we are coming to the Bruzio Viaduct again. And I like this view a lot better than coming down. So Ginger, I highly, highly recommend that you travel first class Swiss trains, even in the high season, because odds are they'll be less crowded and you can move from one side of the train to the other, left and right side. And you don't need to take the Bernina Express. It's nice, but it's probably going to be way packed. And you did mention that you couldn't get reservations for the Glacier Express. I booked pretty early, even in the off season, and I was thrilled to get 2 tickets. And this is one of the most photographed train scenes in the world, and there's a couple people out there doing exactly that. But this was the Glacier and this train ride were the highlights of my trip, and I'll always treasure these. So I made it back into St. Moritz. I missed the museum. It closed on me. And so I just hung out at the restaurant, read for a while, relaxed in the room, and got ready to go to St. Gallen on the next day. Alrighty, folks, we will catch y'all later.